I'm just going to do this quickly. Just know that as a statewide working group, there's several of us on there that created these tools for you, and that all these tools were not just created in a vacuum. We got recommendations from all over the country and from our state's Sexual Assault Coalition, as well as law enforcement agencies. So this was really done as a multidisciplinary team. They're all survivor-centered. And essentially we decided that the best practice was to notify every single survivor after the DNA results came back. Whether there's a CODIS hit or not, we believe that it's a survivor's right to know that something has happened to their kit. And that's what we really based our guidance on. The only times we're hesitant about notifying is if a survivor's jeopardy, safety might be in jeopardy. If it's, there's not going to be any follow-up and perhaps they live with the person who has assaulted them. We have some guidance on weighing out what is best for that survivor in those situations. But again, this is just a summary, so it's out there. We always recommend to notify first over the phone as your top choice. Second choice in person, third choice only if absolutely necessary via a letter. Obviously, you know your community best, and we certainly recommend you do what works best for them, while also taking into account, somebody like I think Charlotte Mecklenburg, their approach is to show up at people's houses to do the notifications, and they have gone through, and for them, they've decided this is what works best. Our concern from a statewide, perspective was confidentiality, safety. What if they show up and there's other folks in the home that, don't know about this? How do you handle that? Are they showing up in their clothes, officer clothes? And then also just thinking about undocumented folks and African American people, and there's a lot of tension around right now, or fear around law enforcement, and what that could feel like for a survivor. So just knowing that, someone's safety, confidentiality is really our sort of top priority when doing the notifications. John, we pulled this quote from him before he came on as a consultant, but just how important the notifications are. They're very difficult to do, but it's really a very important part of the job. And what we decided was that the best trauma-centered, survivor-centered approach is to do notifications in partnership with a community-based advocate so that they can have that continuity of services, so you can continue on if you're law enforcement to do the work, and they have an advocate, alongside them. Some of the examples of what would be important to share with them. But essentially, I don't want you all to get too stuck in this, because we create these tools that actually have a sample script of what you could say in the phone call. We have terms and definitions that have been defined from the DA's office to law enforcement, looking at, we might contact a survivor and start saying words like prosecute and court and trial, and they don't know necessarily what those terms mean. So like a real basic terms and definitions related to these types of cases. What's a cold case? What's a SA, a sexual assault kit, that kind of stuff. And we have everything down to like a handout you could give a friend or family member of someone who's being notified that they have a kit from this backlog. So that is available for you. Just wanted you all to know those tools are there.